Hey guys, Tim here with the Long Hair Gardener, and today it is time for another garden update. I do these about every 4 weeks, just so you can see what my garden is currently looking like. Hopefully you've been following along. I took you along for the journey from start to, sadly, we will be approaching the finish soon, although it is September, mid-September, and today's high here in Philadelphia is going to be 89, which is crazy. So a lot of the plants are still looking pretty good. So I thought I would just walk you around here and take a look at how much they have grown. I love coming into the garden from this angle just because you get to see the whole garden, and it really does look jungly back here, which is the look that I'm going for. Let's get started right here. Unfortunately, it is in the sun, but it's only going to get sunnier. So look how amazing this sweet potato vine is down here. Just come down for a little closer look. I love how, although I do enjoy my pots, I love how this has completely covered up my pod, so it's just like a little floating plant pod here. And we have these Mexican petunias. This is the first year that I am growing these plants, and I am so happy with the way it looks. Something of note about this plant is that right now it currently has tons of flowers and looks amazing. But this plant does drop all of its flowers almost every day, or maybe it is every day. I'm not out here monitoring every second of the plant's life cycle, but I believe every night all of these flowers drop off, and then in the morning more bloom. So that is something to note if you are planning on growing this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but the flowers do drop to the ground, so you'll have the flowers laying around on the ground. Not a big deal at all. Right behind the Mexican petunia, we have this Lantana, which came up from last year. It survived the winter and rebloomed, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love this particular combination of colors. It's like an orange and a yellow, and I think it's great. Let me just spin around here again. There is a Gomphrena that's spilling out over the edge, which again, as you're entering the garden, is such a great pop of color. I guess from this angle I will point out this bird of paradise, which I didn't think was very happy with where it was growing because some of the leaves turned color, but it is doing really well right now. So that is a plant that I'm going to have to bring in over the winter. Every year is basically an experiment where I'm trying to figure out which plants go well together. And I have discovered that anytime I put petunias in with any other plant that I am growing, they do not survive. But I do have a pot right down here that is basically only petunias, and there is some verbena, and look how great these look together. I just wish the verbena was a little bit fuller, but one plant seems to always dominate another, but that's just kind of the way it is. But anyway, I will repeat this again where I put petunias and probably verbenas together, because almost every other plant combination causes the petunia to be choked out. While we're down here, look at how amazing, and I'm down here because we're looking at these baby pineapple plants. Look how amazing this pineapple plant is. It's humongous. I've mentioned so many times before, this is a pineapple that I grew from a pineapple in the grocery store, and it looks so good. I also love this combination of the lemon lime sedum and the dichondra silver falls down here, kind of mingling throughout those large blades. It's such a good look. All of these things have talked about before. I will just kind of stop here for a minute. This is a perennial. This is a rainbow ascot euphorbia, and I just love this combination of this really like dark sagey green and the chartreuse really has good impact over here against the predominantly like green, just standard green leaves. So this is new this year, and I love how it's turning out and how it's growing. I also do have a pineapple lily down here which has not bloomed. This is year number 2. A little disappointing, but that's all right. They can't all be winners. The petunias, keeping in mind mid-September, they're starting to look a little sad, but hanging in there a little bit. I did, if you have seen any of my other videos, maybe you remember there was a lot more green up here on the window. I had a cup and saucer vine which was doing absolutely nothing and slowly dying. So I did rip that down so that the mandevilla has more room, and it looks better already, and it's been maybe like 2 weeks, and there is a bloom happening right now. Let's see if I can come in for a closer look. All right, I've talked about this many times before, how easy basil is. If you love basil, even if you don't like eating it, I really recommend this purple variety, because look how pretty this is, and you can eat it if you want to. It does also bloom, which I don't allow it to do, except for, if you can see over here, I don't think I can really get in any closer because there's so many pots down here. But it is blooming. Let me do a little extend. So I just randomly have my houseplant sitting over here because it got knocked over or blown over or something. This is a houseplant that I just kind of glance over, don't really mention because it's in the back. But look how huge this is. I have had this plant now, this one here with the larger, this is a Croton, with the larger leaves. I have had this particular plant for over 10 years now, and it just gets bigger and bigger every year, which is to be expected. But oh my god, it's almost not going to fit in my apartment pretty soon. These other plants were added. These are just different varieties of Crotons. They were added later on, and they are also doing quite well. Back to the wall, I will point out how happy I am with the purple fountain grass. It's just giving, it's just really filling in that window box, giving good height, good movement, nice contrast with the bright colored sweet potato vine down below, and I think it's great. Down below here, we've had a couple problems. This Salvia, I'm sure you can kind of tell there's like a big hole here. This broke during a windstorm, and I think that is somewhat common for these to snap off, so I'm not sure if I will have that again next year. Moving down, so I was talking about the petunias. I did have a petunia in here and also on the other side of the Salvia, and they both have been kind of eaten up by all these other plants. But for September, I think it's looking really good. I'm always a fan of these upright elephant ears. They're so beautiful. If I really wanted to, I did have a couple other plants in here that are kind of way past their prime. I had a Vermillion air. I say had, but it's still in there. It's just not really doing anything. That's the green that's kind of all over here. If I really wanted to, I could maybe like push some of this plant back and maybe pop in a fall plant like an ornamental pepper or a mum, but haven't gotten there yet, and I'm not sure if it will happen. I unfortunately, so my mangabi over here is looking fantastic. I unfortunately missed out on the spider lily blooming, so I did take a picture and I will put that up on the screen, but I absolutely love these spider lilies. There were 5 blooms this year and they look great, so I highly recommend you growing those if you never have. They are bulb and come back every year. We're just gonna kind of walk through here. There is if you hear people talking in the background, because I sure do, there was a pop-up, I'm gonna call it a pop-up. There is like a flea market or yard sale type situation happening right outside my gate. So there are lots of voices. I mean, every year the banana tree is a winner, and this year is definitely not disappointing. I mean, look how huge this is. It's beautiful. I have overwintered this 3 years now, and I'm gonna try to do it again. I am just hopeful that I can make it the rest of the season, which is only about a month, without this plant falling over, because it did blow over last year, and it does kind of look like it might have a little bit of a lean to it, so fingers crossed. Over here, more upright elephant ears that I had to pop in after some other plants kind of failed. The hostas are not looking good at all, but again, mid-September, it's kind of normal. Also, probably not enough consistent watering for them. I did want to do this garden tour because I'm coming in here to look at this Vermillion. I did want to do this garden tour because this is probably one of the last garden tours that I'm going to do where all of these planters are still intact. I am going to need to come in here and bring these bromeliads in because it's going to get cool soon, and they are tropical plants that I bring in every year, so I'm going to want to do that before the cool weather has an opportunity to cause those to rot. I've talked about this many times before. The caladiums are just outstanding this year. Probably one of my favorite plants. I will always have caladiums. There's some more right down here near my feet. House plant again that I'm going to have to bring in. It's always hard to tell or gauge the scale because of how far away I am, but this is another humongous plant that I'm going to have to bring into my apartment. This particular angel wing, I have been caring for it for at least 13 years. It's probably older than 13 years because I inherited that from someone else. Same thing with the split leaf philodendron. It is, again, it's probably over 15 years old, and it's gigantic. This is the biggest it has ever been, so I was very happy this year. I guess it loved all the heat, but I'm gonna have trouble bringing that into my apartment for sure. More caladiums down here. Love this Tradescantia that's trailing out of here. Impatiens, this is the only impatient that's really hanging in there. A lot of mine struggled this year, which is very unusual for me and for impatiens. Not sure what was going on. It's probably always comes down to watering. I want to point out, so every year I grow this particular Coleus. This is my favorite. I always bring a piece in over winter. I've already prepared a pot of this plant to bring in. I think this particular one is called Saturn, but again, I just love the contrast of something that's dark next to that chartreuse. And if you look, there are little red specks throughout the leaf, and this is just one of my favorites, and I can't always find it, so I make sure to bring that in every year. I really do love this Coleus as well. It seems to be changing colors as we're getting later on in the season. It's definitely getting I'm able to see more of the orange and the purple veining, whereas before it was a little bit more of like this greenish color, which isn't as appealing to me. So I love what's happening there right now. So let's see, where can I stand that you can see what's going on here? So on the corner I have a trellis, and it is absolutely covered in a cup and saucer vine. Unfortunately, that vine is not doing anything. It hasn't bloomed at all season long. I've never grown it before, so I'm not sure what I did wrong or what could improve it so that it does bloom. Troubleshooting on the internet says could be a lack of sun, but this is really in one of the sunniest spots in my garden, so I don't think that's an issue. Like most of bumps or issues that I have in my garden, probably comes down to watering, maybe consistent watering. I have to water my plants almost every day, but there are times in between where plants do wilt, and sometimes that impacts the blooming. So I'm glad that I, in addition to the cup and saucer vine, decided to put a single Heist Bean vine plant in here, which is this one here with the 3 lobes or leaves. And I let it climb up this tree. I started it later than what I could have. And it is, I apologize, the sun, you probably can't see what's going on. It is actually all the way up in through this tree now. That's what all of these little pieces are hanging down. There's one right here. So it has gone up in this tree, and it is actually blooming. Not sure if you can see, but it is producing flowers. There's a bud right down here. So I kind of like this look, and I might try to do that again next year. We'll see what happens after the vine dies, how easy this is to take down from the tree. But I love that these bright like fuchsia flowers are going to be up here in this tree. So that's why I think I want to do that again next year. All right, moving around along the corner here, the ageratums I think are beautiful. I love this. It's like a purple, but whatever this color of purple is, I think is great. It's like soft, but also like rich at the same time. I'm not sure how to describe it, but whatever it is, I love it, and I will definitely repeat the ageratum again next year. In between, I have a Biden, which looks terrible. Don't know what's going on there. I did cut it back at one point, but it's not looking fantastic. So I won't be getting those anymore. My sedum are blooming. Unfortunately, they are definitely flopping. They're kind of buried by these cannas here, so they're probably not getting enough light, probably stretching a little bit and flopping over. Look at this Coleus. I don't remember the exact name of this one. It might be like strawberry drop or something like that. It's just taking over this whole pot. Again, it's like with the sweet potato vine, you can't even see the pot anymore. And I do like my pots, but I love when the plants completely take over like this. It's such a nice look. There is a papyrus kind of plant poking out through the top here. A little, I'm gonna say, underwhelming with the growth this year, but I have been wintering that plant over, I think, for 3 years now, so I think it's time to let it go. Persian shield is always a favorite. Love anything purple, but I love that this foliage is that beautiful purple color. The Purple Heart is fantastic. It's definitely a favorite of mine. Look how full and beautiful this plant is. Again, love purple, so that's probably why. More of these caladiums that I love. While we're down here, we'll just spin around. The frog and the blender caladium did amazing this year. I don't think I really looked at my oxalis too much this year, but it is also doing very nice back here, and it's another purple plant. Surprise, surprise. I tend to love purple foliage plants. And there's another bromeliad over here. So yes, I did want to do this one final, let's do a little pan of this garden while I'm talking. I did want to do one final garden tour because I'm not sure if I will do another because of how late it is in the season, but also because I'm gonna want to start to bring in some of these house plants. Right now it's warm, everything's ideal, but at night it is starting to get cooler, and houseplants, tropical houseplants specifically, don't appreciate being wet and then being cold at night. So gonna bring those in soon, and my garden is gonna start to look a little bit more empty. Alright guys, that's everything for today. Thank you for following along on my progress of my garden back here. Again, Philadelphia Zone 7. If you have any questions about any of the plants that I'm growing, please leave a comment down below, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. Hope you're having a great start of fall and a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.